Hello and welcome back to the Gianpaolo Cherubin Selections channel. It's been a while, so we had a little pause. Holidays are coming up. Happy holidays to everyone, by the way. In tonight's episode, it's actually a little bit of a different format. Well, I decided to go solo. Everyone is busy with holiday planning or holiday shopping and whatever they're doing. And so I figured I have been receiving over time so many requests for me to share some of my recipes, and I thought it was about time that I would start doing that. So tonight I just wanted to share one very simple recipe, but every time I make this dish, everyone always loves it. Let's face it, who doesn't like fried food? The idea is to make it light, tasty, and somewhat healthier. So tonight I would like to talk about my chicken schnitzel and what I do to it that is just a tad different than what the classic recipe would be. So basically I buy my own organic chicken with bone, and I like to debone the breast, and then I will save all the scraps and the bones for stock, and then I slice it and pound it thin. So that's the first step. So I have my chicken all ready, put it in between layers of plastic, and then wrap it up, and I have it ready in the fridge. And then when I'm ready at the last minute, I'll take the chicken out, let it get room temperature, right when I'm ready for the coating. So with the coating, I prepare two trays, one with flour. In this case, I use 00, but you can use whatever flour you like, whatever flour you have available, or all-purpose, whole wheat. I have used all kinds. And the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs, that's part of my secret. So the breadcrumbs are not store-bought. I make the breadcrumbs. And it's very easy. Whenever you eat nice bread, you buy good bread from a bakery, whatever scraps, whatever you have left, keep it in a Ziploc bag and store it in an airtight container. Like your microwave is a perfect place. Once the bread is hardened, then leave it right on the Ziploc bag and roll it over with a rolling pin or smash it with a mallet. If you want finer or even breadcrumbs, run them through a sieve and then repound whatever is left and do it again. So in this way, you might have bread that has sesame, you might have bread that has rye, you might have whole wheat bread. So the combination that you get left is a very interesting breadcrumbs. It's not the boring white bread store-bought breadcrumbs that you get in a regular supermarket. So step 3 is the egg mixture. So in the egg mixture, I use for about 2 breasts of chicken sliced. I use about, I will get about 8 to 10 slices of chicken, pounded, and I will use 2 whole eggs. And then of course you have to season enough, because you don't season the meat, you have to season the eggs, and this is how the egg is going to give the chicken the flavor. So season it with enough salt, pepper, and then plenty of Parmesan cheese. And then what I do is I take one small garlic clove, I cut it in half, remove the germ inside, and then cream that basically by pounding it with a flat blade of the knife or the cleaver, and then chopping it really, really fine, like it's almost a cream. And then put it in with the egg mixture, and then I chop in a handful of fresh oregano, chopped very fine, of course, as well. Mix everything together, and then at the end I add maybe a quarter of a cup of mineral water, a sparkling mineral water, and that helps to crisp the chicken, and also lightens up the breading. So I have 1, 2, and 3: the egg, the flour, and the breadcrumbs. So first I will dust the chicken in the flour, then dip it in the egg, and then in the breadcrumbs. So and then you just have your oil. And I've been using a combination of olive oil and sunflower because I find it has enough flavor, but it doesn't burn easily. So you let it get really hot, at least 350 degrees, and then you start frying your chicken. Not too many pieces at a time, 3 or 4, enough to cover the size of your pan, not to overlap any pieces. All it takes is literally 2 minutes on one side and maybe less than a minute on the other, and your chicken is ready. And you could just tell by the color, that it gets. Oh, I forgot. You want to put a pinch of cayenne pepper too in the mix with the eggs. So that's it. And then I'll just fry it. And then do not put the chicken, when you remove it from the frying pan, don't put it on paper. That's the worst thing you can do actually with any fried, because that paper would actually make it steam. So your breading will become soggy. So if you have a colander or one of those racks that go inside your cookie sheets or grilling pans, so that it could elevate the chicken from the surface, but has holes in it. Basically, that's the concept. Have paper underneath it, so if anything drips, it doesn't go on your counter, and you will have perfectly crisp chicken. And with that, I just serve sliced lemon. Very simple. So with this chicken, I serve one of my, I always have a favorite of the week and a favorite of the month, but I have been very hot on this particular rosé. As you can tell, it's a rosé that borderlines a light red. And this comes from Abruzzo, so the central south part of Italy. It is the biggest herding state in Italy. So you have the second largest, tallest, I should say, mountain range after, Mount Blanc in the Alps. And it's here called the Gran Sasso. So it's a very mountainous area, but Abruzzo also has a beautiful coastline. So all these shepherds in the winter will start descending from the mountains and going toward the sea with thousands of their sheep. And, they carry along their pecorino cheese and, their pecorino wine. And so in this region, the one red grape that is very famous is Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. So in Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, obviously, is made in a red wine, and it's made in several styles. It could be aged, it could be fresh and young. But in this case, it's made into a rosé. And that rosé is called Cerasuolo. It comes from a dialectal word, cerasa, which is, again, dialect or slang for cherry. And these are the bright red cherries, like the Bing cherries, that are sort of tart a little bit. And you could see, like, if you would take some of those cherries and leave them in a bath of water, you would probably get this color, So this is a perfect description for it. And this is a very full body red wine. So it's a red wine, a full body rosé wine that has enough bite, enough acidity, but enough fruit to carry through. And I'm loving it with fried food. I think it has that acidity to clean your palate off, just like a white wine would, but it adds a little extra because of the flavors, because of that wild cherry in it. So it's just lovely, and you should step out of your box and try Cerasuolo. It's really worth it. So, and there you have it for this episode. My delicious chicken schnitzel with the super delicious Cerasuolo from Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. Keep enjoying good food and good wine, and drink in moderation. Moderation and quality are the ingredients for a happy life. So if it's your first time tuning into my show, don't forget to subscribe and click on that little bell above so you can be notified of any new videos. I wish you all a very happy holiday season, And I promise I will be bringing you some new and exciting food and wine pairings in the near future. Ciao!